Time out. It's Cashapp Ceito, the spirit coach, getting you in shape and form for the age of Aquarius yet again. You're now drinking the wine of Zeus. Welcome to a short video. I felt the need to put this video up. This is pretty much a very broad interpretation of spiritual knowledge and mental travel. And what, I would like to present today is based upon, us inhabiting a body, physical features, and also, dealing with what comes with having a body. Because there's a thin line between if you are living for someone else, right, and you're living for you. Okay, so a lot of the reasons why we do have to stigmatize certain things, or certain things have been stigmatized, is because based upon, keeping up an oral tradition, or, something that can keep something in a sense of order where, it can be experienced, based upon outcome and ritual habits. So, this video is just for educational purposes, and it is intended to just kind of make you aware of the actual knowledge that is out here, and that you can utilize, your spiritual prowess to unveil for yourself. Whether that is, doing what we call astral travel, which is basically you thinking about some shit, right? And then, internal work, or shadow work, seeing how you feel about the things that you saw as you were astral traveling. Okay, so we're going to talk about this in a sense of, the world and the spectrum, and then you can see how far you are on the spectrum of, inhabiting certain characteristics, because what we observe creates blood flow, and it creates whatever our thoughts and feelings are, it creates adrenaline, then we have that condensing mechanism, where I actually just wrote this down from the Dolo video. Shout out to Dolo. A spark, which would be an idea. Then you have accumulation, which would be how you feel about that idea. Then you have the movement, the information of what ideas and things in the space you can get that done. And then the condensing, you doing that over and over again, which is just fire, water, air, earth. So, this would kind of open your spectrum to the point of why you may create certain habits in your life. Why you may be experiencing certain things over and over again, because it's literally about the space that you are emitting these lights and sparks from. So it can be in a very low vibrational, low frequency space where you may have, smaller thoughts, or it can be from a very high frequency place where you may have broader thoughts and stuff. So yeah, a low frequency thought is something like that won't get you as excited as a high frequency thought. You'll have more excitement, knowing that you about to go to, this fun place rather than not, right? So that lets you know based upon that, and then you can do the same thing far as with the emotional side, the vibration. You may feel in a low space about it, like you may never feel like you can get that done, so that can leave you unmotivated, or you can feel like you can kind of get that thing done. So, we're differentiating that, And based upon your actions and other actions in the world, you can see on a spectrum where we at in this esoteric rainbow of things. And so the mere fact that you have a body, okay, right? You are being stigmatized by Masonic Masonic art, okay, Jewish literature, and Jesuit intellect. Now I'm gonna explain what Masonic art is. So Masonic art is the depiction of the world that you are in based upon movies, and based upon the philosophy behind that movie. So you know, essentially, you may get up in the morning, you go outside, and you think the sun is moving on, or you think the sun is revolving around Earth or something like that, um, or the Earth is revolving around the sun, or something like that, based upon whatever ideas they may show you on that movie, but playing characters like you, which would be the man, because you would be the thought, the man in that movie, um, and essentially, so you would bring those concepts to your world and apply them out. Yet there may be very different philosophies on what we're in. That's why we got topics like flat earth, which I don't believe in none of that. You know what I'm saying? I believe, you know, earth is a wave, and we, you know, kind of condense, you know, into these things. And there's more ways to look at it too, based upon just even occult text or religious text where it tells you like we in a snake or we in a body. So, you know, it you know, the perspective can get vast, but yet the popularized one, which would be the Masonic art, that a lot of people like you know, or, you know, if you're not into this context, you know, other individuals are under and stuff like that. So therefore we got the fighting of perceptions between that. Now that's what we got. So, you know, we got the Masonic art, the depiction in movies, and a philosophy of where you're at in art form. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, essentially, if you see pearly white gates and stuff like that, you know, that's going to put your mind into the philosophy of heaven or something like that. You were taught that, you know what I'm saying? Now, not saying these things don't speak to us in certain ways based upon the frequency vibration behind them, but that's another topic. Okay. And then we got Jewish literature. Okay. So the mere fact that you can interpret words, the meaning behind them, and the letters itself and what they mean on their own. So the mere fact that you can interpret words, this is Jewish literature. Oh, and really just the letters and a system that is built on to say A mean this, B mean this. But these things are very much something on their own, you know, and they were utilized, you know, and updated and kind of put into systems where, you know, you can just say it and we know what we interpret in, but that don't mean nobody else know if they don't know this language. You get what I'm saying? So essentially you kind of taught. Then you got Jesuit intellect, which is the mind frame of understanding the whole shit situation or what the words are saying, which is like the spirit of God came upon you. Okay, so a Jesuit intellect gives you the ability to decipher, to read these things in the sense of the Society of Jesus, and really that society is just how they preach the gospel, and preach it to you and whatever, but you still responsible for your own mind at the end of the day. So that's where they can kind of wash their hands and be clean with the things. So the mere fact that you have a body, you are being stigmatized by Masonic art, Jesuit intellect, coined the Majuits. You know what I'm saying? In Jewish literature, coined the Majuits. I call it the Majuits. So, not for the sake of you are cursed, but you are under property of civilizing yourself in a way that suits the current running system. So it's not like you cursed. You're not cursed or anything, but essentially your mind is under property of the civilizing system. So now you know if you are stigmatized in some way, whatever, we gonna get into the deeper aspect of why that is and things, because essentially your bloodline don't run shit where you can come in and just make decisions like that. So essentially, if you are on the outskirts of things and things, that's the energy you're going to receive within being in this context. You know what I'm saying? You can't just wake up and say, okay, I don't want to go to school and I want to be this in my life. Or you can't just wake up and say, okay, I want to build my own building and stuff like that. No, you are a civilian. So you have to civilize yourself under those three concepts: Masonic art, Jewish literature, and Jesuit intellect. Okay? Now, not for the sake that you are cursed, but you are under property of civilizing yourself in a way that suits the current running system. And this system was built by the people that wrote the Bible, the people that are in power, you know what I'm saying, and their bloodline. So that may look like a lot of Jews, or that may look like a lot of people that are connected to, the Bible and Christianity, and you know what I'm saying? But they built this on the Bible. That's why the Bible is the most powerful books. But this is the shedding of the snake, aka getting one to be enticed by the desire and see if they are strong enough to shed it. So that's what the first Adam and Eve story about. You know what I'm saying? The tree being the body. You know what I'm saying? You got a thought and a feeling. You know what I'm saying? Men is thought in the Bible. Feelings is emotions in the Bible, and that's how they look at emotions in the Bible. They look at them as negative and things. So they, you know what I'm saying, called it Adam and Eve. You know what I'm saying? Adam, which is our higher natures and shit like that, and Eve are our lower natures. You know what I'm saying? From that sun doing that transition from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., where we start to see, okay, what we was productive with our time in that type of time frame. You know what I'm saying? And the more we can show certain productivity, you know what I'm saying, we can be more men-like, we can be more upright. The more we show, you know what I'm saying, leaning towards that Eve, okay, we getting enticed by that desire and by that nature. And this is something we just do naturally and generally by having these two principles. Okay? So, but yeah, so this is how they built the system, which is the shedding of the snake. That's why the snake is so popular. The dragon is very popular. You know what I'm saying? The snake being the first like animal we come in contact with the Bible, you know what I'm saying, and the motherfucking dragon and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying. So that lets you kind of know that they, we follow those types of principles and shit like that. We follow, you know what I'm saying. So, well, y'all do and stuff like that, but y'all follow these certain types of principles, you know what I'm saying, and this is how they program y'all society. So they always giving y'all the thing to be enticed by, and it's like the strongest survive. And the more you stronger and the more you use your thought, you know what I'm saying, you can start to be more like the men and women that they're creating. So aka, this is the system they use. The shedding of the snake, aka getting one to be enticed by desire and see if they are strong enough to shed it before it destroys them based upon what they deem successful. Okay, so keep that in mind. And creating new men and women, you know what I'm saying? Because essentially what they deem successful is what their men and women can create is better security, you know what I'm saying? Better shelter, safety, building their bloodline to survive and thrive and more rulership. So have more abilities in this world. You know what I'm saying? You have to go through trial and tribulations, but if you know how to uphold something, you will look like you have more abilities in this world, and pretty much that shit is being passed down, essentially. But building more of their type of being and species. So that's what it is. So we're building their more type of men and women. And what their men and women can create is better security, shelter, safety, and building their bloodline to survive and thrive in more of rulership, aka higher men and women chakras. So the rulership chakra is the thought form chakra. So they thought if they was more of the higher chakras and stuff like that, and they exhibited more of those qualities, and they ran it from that perspective and things, you know what I'm saying? This is why people is into the head space or whatever, you know what I'm saying, must be closest to God because they're more closer to their higher chakras and stuff like that. So this is why Adam did have grace and Eve didn't have grace, because they look at the man not even as a sense of male and female like a regular human do it, but the principles in general, and then what, you know what I'm saying, is helping you thrive here on this, in this realm of reality. But yeah, so the people that correlated with more the dark energy or negative when dealing with their Adam falling, you know what I'm saying, aka your thought falling, or you following a desire, or you know what I'm saying, or you falling into the Eve, or you know what I'm saying. That's like anytime you get enticed by something, you know what I'm saying, you thought it was the best thing on earth and stuff like that, but essentially, you know, that thing leave and now you're in shame. So now you naked. So now what you thought was doing, you gotta, you know what I'm saying, you kicked out of the tree, the garden, you know what I'm saying, where all the fruits and juicy was at. You ain't in there no more. So this is a spell that they do on everybody to kind of keep everybody's mind, you know what I'm saying. It's not a bad thing. It's just a way to look at it. So you just got to be mentally in tune with this. So the people that correlated more with the dark energy are negative when dealing with the atom falling, based upon them not choosing the day principle, okay, Adam's grace or God's favor over men and stuff like that. So that's why they think they're close to God, because they think y'all choose more of the negative principle, you know what I'm saying, or the more feeling principle. Okay? In conclusion, they worship this being living in the higher natures and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And this is just some of them. So, but I'm gonna just put it in this perspective. But this is just another dumb spirit that's under some rulership too, and that's kind of getting too out of y'all range. I don't even think y'all understand that, but they understand that when I say that though. You know, well, they about to understand that. But yeah, so that's really all it is them, you know, putting your because, you know, the higher chakras can when you are more masculine energy, it can build something. You know what I'm saying? It can uphold something, or it can, you know, but it's just a false. They're kind of giving y'all like a false masculine type of situation too, and that's still under investigation. You know, spiritual, in the spiritual realm, that's going to be handled. But because you got to understand it, we got to understand it. Are y'all giving us a false sense of masculinity, and y'all playing these characters too? Which is very possible. You know what I'm saying? They could be playing these characters too, but essentially, you know, regardless, the nature of, you know, being within, you know, their type of business concept is what seems to be successful, based upon them running the world and them, you know what I'm saying? But to me, that's all just fallacy though. It's all just fallacy. But yeah, they'll make it seem like you have to do those things first, and this is their way of being right. But really, they made those things important. You know what I'm saying? So they made security, safety, stability, and shelter secure in a way. Not saying that's wrong or anything, you know what I'm saying, to build a kingdom, but essentially it's all for rulership. It's all for a sense of rulership, and then the rulership is being within the higher chakras of this being, specifically the head, because you know, when you're in the head of space of this being, you know what I'm saying, you're in the first space, you know what I'm saying, the head chakra. So once you're in that head chakra and stuff like that, you know, you can get a lot done in there, because you're like, I gotta be first or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But all of us as spirits kind of created that. You know what I'm saying? So when it gets to, you know, you being stigmatized and things, you know what I'm saying? That's when, okay, because this is when you got to take your power back and realize it ain't even them. It's just because you created a body here. You know what I'm saying? You created a body in this realm of reality where you deem this necessary. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't realize that, then you will be lost in a concept for eons. So the only power, their only power is through convincing you that this is not what you're here to, this is what you here to do, right? Which is your heart space. And that's what you know what we're here to do, because we here to relate, right? And we here to be um essentially ourselves amongst others and stuff like that. And you know, um they'll convince you that you're not here to do that via setting other things up, you know what I'm saying, and stuff, where it's hard for you to kind of even be in that space, you know what I'm saying, to kind of get that done. So once you realize that, then you're not on Gaia or the heart space and correlated to the chakra. Like, we are on the heart chakra. This is the heart chakra of the being, that we are within. You know what I'm saying? But essentially, so their only power is through thought, is convincing you that you're not here, what you're here to do. So when you want to do something, when you don't, it ain't necessarily about rebellion too. But let's say you just want to be able to work and make a living off of what you do or whatever. Before you relate that or whatever, and you feel like you should be actually relating that and balancing that, you know what I'm saying, and making that a reasonable situation that others can see as something like, yeah, we can do that, you know what I'm saying, you cling more to the other chakras, you know what I'm saying, which ain't nothing wrong with that. That's a concept. But in reality, a lot of them times, them things is wrapped upon taking you away from you doing what you like doing here and being able to do it in a sense where it can be good in a method and show others another way. So that's when we get into the rulership of, you know what I'm saying, that their only power is through convincing you, because they'll come through the head space, right? Which is, having the shit head on, you know what I'm saying? Well, having the power, right? Because the Aries is the power. So having a power of, being first on, this type of knowledge or this type of thought and whatever, build up a society where it's counterproductive to you, at least feeling like, you know what I'm saying, you can, be bring a sense of difference and relatability in a new way. And whatever you relating on, it ain't just something that you just using as a bias. It can actually have some, you won't even do that. So yeah, but to me, when I look at it with my logical sense, is that we literally on the heart chakra. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that we're supposed to indulge in anything, that's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? So we here to balance. We here to be the balance between, our lower natures and our higher natures. And when I look at it and think, the person that is showing a sense of heart and equilibrium and things, they got that. That's when they bring out that Jesus spell. You know what I'm saying? Now that can get negative or positive depending on like what situation is caused, but they make this person look like a super hero or outcast or somebody that's doing something that is not doing it. But if that person can, you know what I'm saying, or that spirit, right? Because if that spirit can bring something very new and stuff like that, it can change that. So essentially, you know, the reason why they got so much power is because they run this being that we in higher chakras, and um the men of it or whatever, you know what I'm saying, based upon, and then they use them higher chakras, you know, and take affirmative action and build things so that um they can rule the lower natures of it while they can live in the most high. And this is their uh version of being exalted and more like God than the less, you know what I'm saying, which would be the feminine. So this is men and women. This is just ain't men, because they got women in this shit and that shit too, you know, where that shit manifests physically, where they may not have to do much, you know what I'm saying, they may be close to, you know what I'm saying, essentially your life, you know, may look like a hell based upon the material accumulation that they've accumulated, you know what I'm saying, just from being in that space so long. You know what I'm saying? So now that you know that and stuff like that, that's fine. But what I'm saying is that the being that they live in that head ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? That's just another being that accumulated some shit like that. And just because you live in there, you know what I'm saying, it don't mean a goddamn thing, you know? So, you know, we all did this and we all fallen. But if you don't understand that, you know what I'm saying, that keep you under their God concept. And that God is another demon in another world, you know? So this is how they're keeping rulership, you know what I'm saying? With their God concept, the Bible, and etc. So essentially, you know, you want to know how we create ourselves into existence. We bring ourselves accumulating from the, you know, the dimensional realms, and that's all the way from the ninth to the first, you know, and we condensing into this situation. Other than that, you know, it get to tricky terms and stuff like that. If you don't know nothing like that, you don't got no flight knowledge or, you know, no knowledge of self, and you know what I'm saying, you would end up being a low-key hater of the feminine chakras and stuff like that. So it's all about finding that equilibrium, not being a hater on any scale, you know what I'm saying? And once you can find that equilibrium, you know, then that's when you essentially could be better with your self-acceptance and where you do live. You know what I'm saying? This is why people in, you know, business or whatever, they might be doing good business, but they ain't, you know what I'm saying, they might not have, their relationships might be horrible, or they might be fucking real good, you know what I'm saying, or they not fucking real good, or they not, you know what I'm saying, having time for other shit and stuff. But this is how they built y'all up to be. So it's not the worst solution or whatever, but when it comes to people from you know, spirits that see life in other ways, where, okay, I want to be in business too, right? But essentially, you know, I don't like the practices and the methods and the stuff that is happening for me to get in that position. You know, I see it another way. And then that's when we can relate, do business, harmonize, and stuff like that. And that has to happen from the heart chakra first. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to know what feelings and emotions, you know, and what to relate on that is in a sense of care and a sense of, you know, you can be able to care for others in some way, shape, to where at a point you can care enough to make something like a system in the first place, you know. So it's not about what you're doing, nothing's negative or positive, but it's about how you do it. Essentially, I think if you are on the heart chakra, then that is a, you know, that it's a space that we as a collective should all kind of be alchemizing, especially in today's time. This is why relationships are so horrible. You see guys want to get a bag. There's guys leaning more to that Adam getting grace. You know what I'm saying? Getting away free card. You know, okay, as long as I got money, then I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And I can be seen as successful. You know, but at the end of the day, you know, that shit don't mean shit. And then when it comes to, in terms of, you know, you just being another person within the system getting, you know what I'm saying, boosted, but not having, you know, specific knowledge of how to maybe change that situation or, you know, present something new to that table, you know. And then for the females or the feminine, you know what I'm saying, you on the negative side of, you know, being the one that's delusional, and then the feminine ain't got no help. So it is about meeting at the center, you know what I'm saying, but not getting lost on either shift, you know, and being the spirit that, you know, is well versed in both. Okay? And so yeah, protect your motherfucking heart chakra. And you know, you can do it. Yeah. Get your ass in the game.